Yeah. So before we start, I want to let you know that the presentation will be recorded. Is everybody fine with that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Tamam. All right. So at the beginning, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Iyad Aboudos, the Director for the Office of Research and Grants at AUK. A warm welcome to our respected deans, the faculty, staff, students, and visitors. AUK always support faculty, student, and staff in conducting and publishing research. Let me introduce our presenter today, Dr. Mohammed Al-Betar. Dr. Mohammed Al-Betar received his PhD in Artificial Intelligence in 2010 from University of Science, Malaysia. He was also hired as a postdoctoral research fellow in the same university for 3 years and invited as a visiting researcher 2 times. He's currently the head of Artificial Intelligence Research Center at Ajman University. And also he's a faculty member in the Master of Artificial Intelligence program at Ajman University since 2020. He's also the head of Evolutionary Computational Research Group, which published more than 175 scientific publications in high quality and well-reputed journals and conferences. Dr. Al-Betar also ranked in Stanford study of the world's top 2% scientists, and he has more than 15 years of teaching experience in the higher education institution. He taught several courses in computer science, artificial intelligence fields. Prior to joining Ajman University, he served as Deputy Dean of the Academic Affairs and Deputy Dean of Scientific Research for Quality Assurance and Development, and the Head of Information Technology Department at Al-Balqa Applied University in Jordan. In addition to his research, teaching, and administrative capabilities, Dr. Al-Betar has special strength in developing web-based application. So he built more than 12 academic web systems related to research, quality assurance, e-learning, and postgraduate studies. Today, Dr. Al-Betar will be presenting for us a workshop about how to write and publish papers in high-impact journals. Without any delay, Dr. Betar, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Iyad, for your kind introduction, and let me express my deep appreciation for American University of Kuwait for giving me this opportunity to share my experience and my research experience for the faculty members, the giant faculty members in their institution. The workshop, inshallah, today will go through the title of this workshop is How to Write and Publish Paper in High Impact Journals. The outline of this talk will be go through the importance of research, why we are conducting research, and why we are going through the high quality research, what is the benefit, why to publish in high impact factor journal, why we don't target the indexed journals or, for example, the conferences only or book chapters or books, what can be published and what is the type of publications, how to select the right journal, and there is many strategies to select the right journals, the stages of publishing in well-reputed journals. We have different stages to publish in well-reputed journals. What is the paper structure if you have an idea and want to contribute in a research paper, how to do the structure of your research paper. So there is different strategy based on the different domains, and what is the best technical components that should be used when you present your high quality paper, and what is the other stages for the publishing. So we need proofreading, we have to check the Similarity Index using Turnitin or other programs, and what is the recent research platforms that the researchers used for and make use of the current technology like cloud computing and the other languages like LaTeX or others. And finally, we will end up this workshop with how to find active research collaborators. So what is the importance of the research? Actually, the main importance of the research can be summarized as follows: to build and expand the knowledge. So if we need to expand our ideas and expand our knowledge, we have to publish our ideas and contributions in terms of research articles, and should be published in a very good and qualitative journals, because this is journals is more trusted than other journals. And to help in knowledge dissemination, to provide evidence of the truth. So this is another benefit of the research, and help in developing successful business, and to solve real-world problem facing different sectors. And this is how the developed countries works. The industry will offer some problems for the researchers, and the researchers will provide some alternative solutions based on their research findings, and they can solve these problems for these companies. And innovation and advancement of society. And this is very important also, and ranking of countries and institutions. So the research, the conducting research and research finding affect the rank of the countries based on the developed or developing countries. And also the most important thing is the institution. Nowadays, the performance of universities also is measured and evaluated based on some university ranking companies such as QS or THE, like Shanghai. So let me just go through this example from QS. So the QS ranking is based on mainly on the academic reputation, which take 40%, and employer reputation would take 10%, and faculty students ratio, which is 20%, and citation per faculty, and this is a research outcome. So this should be focused. Also citation per faculty, and international students ratio, which is 5% only, and international staff ratio. So the academic reputation, and I think nowadays the QS send us the survey, the QS survey, and the QS survey content is based mainly on the teaching and the quality of teaching and the quality of research. So I think the research quality will gain around 60% from the ranking of the university. So we have to take care about this, because if we need to disseminate our performance, and we need to make ourselves giant in our domain and to compete with other competitors, we have to have a very good rank in the QS ranking or in the THE ranking. Why to publish in a high impact factor journal? So we can publish in anywhere. We can publish in an index journal, but we have to target a high quality journals and high impact factor journals. And the term impact factor is coming from the Clarivate Analytics, which is an indexer that measure and evaluate the journals and the performance of the journal and the knowledge in the journal. So this is based on actually the citation that gained by the publication published in this journal. So why we publish on this type of journals? Actually to ask for evaluation from experts during the review process and increase your research reputation. So the faculty member who publish in well-reputed journal, he will feel proud and he will publish his knowledge in the right place, and definitely this research contribution will be reused again by the researchers, the other researchers in the same domain, because the finding of this research is considered to be trusted. And improve your research citation. Normally, the research citation is increased if the paper is published in high quality journals. This is because the high quality journals are more trusted than the low quality journals. Most the unindexed journals not go through the review process, and the professionals that review the papers are not take the review process seriously. So this is the main idea. And also increase the visibility and authenticity of your research. and also increase the possibility of regional and international collaboration. Normally, if you publish in one domain and you publish a very solid work and very good work, so many collaborators try to contact you and try to make a collaboration with you in your research using, for example, ResearchGate or LinkedIn or other medias. And also enhance the chance for winning a fund, either external fund or internal fund. So if you have the ability to write a good journal paper with a very good knowledge, so it's definitely can be reflected to the other parts of the research, like, for example, the research grant. So you can also write a very good and solid grant, external grant or internal grant. And also, all of the faculty members looking for academic promotion. And normally the promotion is evaluated based on three main directions, such as the services that provided by the faculty member and the teaching profile that's done by the faculty member and the research quality of the faculty member. And normally the big portion go to the research quality and the research of the quality that faculty, and also to sustain our knowledge, and for the institution reputation, as I mentioned previously. So what can be published? Actually, there is many types of publications, such as review article and journal article. The review article is to scan and summarize one domain, specific domain, and the research work done in specific domain to produce one review article. And journal article, and this journal article normally should be very rigorous, has very rigorous knowledge if you want to publish in a high impact factor journal, and with a full story and with a very significant research tools. And conference articles, and there is two types of conferences. Some conferences are indexed conference and the other type is not indexed conference. Normally we are going for conference that indexed by one reputed publishers like IEEE, Elsevier or others. And we have also another type, which is book chapter, and normally the book chapter is not reviewed. It will go through an invitation from the book editor, and the book editor will include this, and only the person who check this book chapter. And the other type is the book and the technical report. So how to select the right journal? After we prepare our journal article, and now we need to find the suitable journal, the suitable well-reputed journal. Fortunately, each publisher provides an engine for search engine for finding the suitable journal. For example, Elsevier or Springer offer a search engine. Let me just give you a live example about these engines. Do you see my screen now? Okay, for example.
Dr. Mohammed, we still just see the slides. I think you need to share that window.
Okay. Okay. Okay, for example, for Elsevier, this is there is an engine called journalfinder.elsevier.com. So in the journal finder, you can enter the title of your research. Let me just try this journal paper that we try it. Okay. And the abstract of your research article. Okay. And we can add the keyword, and normally it is the general keyword in the domain. optimization algorithm, because this paper speaks about the optimization algorithm and feature selection in the AI. So also we can determine the field here, for example, computer science. And when we click on the find the suitable journal, you can see the best match of the journals. Like for this paper, based on the abstract, the best matched journal is expert system with application. And there is different criteria that you can decide which journal is suitable than the others. Like for example, the sites here, which is coming from the Scopus, and impact factor, which is coming from the Clarivate Analytics, and the acceptance rate of this journal, and the time to the first decision, and the time to publish or to publication. So this is the factor. So sometimes we are looking for the fast publication, so we will go through this. Within 3 weeks, they will give me the decision, but the acceptance rate will be very minimal. Sometimes we need to go through the journals with high acceptance rate. So we can filter all of these from here. So here we can filter the journals based on the acceptance rate. So this is the highest acceptance rate, and the reputation and the quality of this journal is less than the other journal, and this is the time for the first decision. So you can decide the journal by this way. The second way of selecting the journal, also the same engine is provided by Springer and by IEEE, by Taylor and Francis. So you can go through any of these publishers, and you can decide where is the suitable journal for your publication. And also the other way to decide which is the best journal for our research is the paper reference. Sometimes we don't go through this fine journal. The best way is to go through the references that you cite them in your paper, and see where is the journals that it's published, and you can select the journal that has the high interest for this research topic. And also we are looking for the reputation of the journal. So this journal, where it is indexed, it is indexed in Scopus or in Clarivate Analytics. So we have the important indexing matrices, which are Scopus and Clarivate Analytics. So the Scopus, normally, if we need to check the quality of this journal based on the Scopus, we will go, let me share my screen and return back again. Here, we will go to the Scopus itself. Okay, so we write immediately Scopus, like here. And then go to the source here and type the name. Here we have different options. We can search for the journal by ISN or publisher or title or subject area, but from my experience, this is the best way of doing research. So here, let me add, for example, applied soft computing journal. So this is the journal available in Scopus, so we can see the evaluation measurement of this journal. For example, this is 91%, which is in the Q1 percentile, and from the top 10% of the journal in the same field. So this is a very good and very solid journal, so we can go through this journal. And the second way of evaluating the journal, we can use journal citation reports, and this is provided by Clarivate Analytics, Clarivate Analytics. So here we can write immediately the name of the journal, for example, expert. Okay, just a minute. Okay, expert. So this is journal citation report, expert system with, so expert system. So we have expert system and expert system with application. So we can go through this journals and in the Clarivate analytics and see the performance, for example, the impact factor for this journal and the journal citation indicator, the total citation of this journal, and it's offered open access or not offered open access, and the quartile. For example, this is a Q1 journal from 2016. So this is another way, but this should be subscribed by the university. If you want to do this for free, you can go to the master journal list. So immediately you can search for master journal list and click on the master journal list and write the name of the journal. But here there is no enough information about the journal, only, for example, expert system with application here. If we go through this, so you can see a minimum number of information about the expert systems with application. So here, maybe we have expert system with application. So this is the expert system with application. It is indexed by Science Citation Index expanded, but there is no impact factor, there is no quartiles for this journal. But normally the Clarivate Analytics has 3 types of journals, either a Science Citation Index, which is the high prestigious, and Science Citation Index expanded, and the last one is Emergent Science Citation Index, which is not entered to the impact factor yet, but it's watched to be entered to the impact factor. Let me return back to the slides again. Okay, we will discuss now the stages of publishing in well-reputed journals. So after we prepare our journal paper and it is ready to be submitted, so we will submit the paper using the journal online submission system. So each journal in well-reputed publishers also has a special submission system. And normally we don't submit only the paper, we submit also extra document like cover letter, highlights, conflict of interest, suggested reviewer, etc., based on the requirement of this journal. And also the sequence of paper status. There is a sequence of paper status. So the paper will go through from the beginning different status. The first status is submitted, where the paper is going to the secretary. The secretary will check the paper if it is in the same format of the journal or not. And if it is with the same format, it will be submitted to the editor. So the status will change to with editor. So the editor-in-chief will take the journal, the paper, and evaluate initial evaluation for the paper, and it will check if it is within the scope of this journal or not, and if it is in the scope, it will be submitted to the associate editor. The associate editor is an editor who is more knowledgeable about the domain of the research article, and he can decide which is the suitable reviewer for this article. So the associate editor will move the status from with editor to the under review status. And after the under review, it will take around 2 to 3 months, depends on the speed of the journal. It will go, it will return back by either a revision, minor revision, or major revision, or it will be accepted as is, and this is rarely happened, and maybe it will be rejected, and sometimes they will mark it as resubmit, means you have to have a major modification and you have to resubmit again to the same journal. And also, after we go through this type of revisions, sometimes you need to prepare a list of response. So the comments coming from the reviewer should be addressed one by one and will be highlighted in a list of response, so the reviewer will know exactly how you modify and revise your paper. And after the acceptance, the journal will send your accepted paper to the production stage. So in the production stage, they will check the technical concepts inside the paper. They will check the English tops, and also they will check the affiliation of the authors and the other concepts, and they will do the final formatting for the paper. So this is an example of the submission example. So this is the title, and this is the number that's given by the submission system, and this is the initial submission date, and this is the status, and this is another status which is editor assigned. Editor assigned. This is before the with editor status. So what is the paper structure, or what is the good paper structure from my experience based on my domain? Actually, each domain has its own structure, and we cannot generalize this structure for all the types of research. But for the engineering and for the computer science, I think this is a good structure for any research paper. But the best way to do a good structure for your paper is to go through your base papers that you depend on in your research and see the structure or their structure and follow their structure exactly. So it depends on your research domain actually, and it depends on that research paper itself. So the review paper has different structure than the article, the normal article, technical article, and the conference paper. But here is the general journal article, the paper structure. The paper has a title, and this title should be catchy and contains the problem and the method, the contribution, and the scope at least, and it should be not more than 15 words, and you have to avoid the jargon and symbols. In the abstract, also it should be between 250 words to 300 words. It should be clear and conscious. The abstract is very important because the first part of the paper that read by the editor is the abstract, so it should be impressive and attractive. Also, it should contain enough information for to summarize the paper. So it should have a background, research problem, contribution, result, and a brief information about the results and conclusion. Also, the keyword, which is the third part that is essential also in the paper, which should be used, the select relevant phrases, and this keyword is very important for indexing of the paper. So if you need to increase the publicity and visibility of your research, you have to select the right keywords. They have to not to have a very specific, they have to be general in the domain. And also the introduction. In the introduction, it should have a full story about the paper and the finding. It has a background and the literature review, so the related work or the related work for your research, and the motivation and the objectives and the results and the paper organization. So this is normally should has at least 1 paragraph to 2 paragraphs for each of these titles. Okay. So, also, after we introduce our introduction, and should be also a nice introduction, we have to go through preparing the background. So the theoretical background is talking about the research problem and the scope of your research and the theory about the method you use. The methodology of your research is also very important for the reader, and normally the reader that like to use your paper, they are interested to have a very clear methodology, so he can repeat the same work and produce the same results. So it should be descriptive, sound and complete. And important that anyone can use your method to reproduce your experiment and use different technical writing tool in this part, which is like mathematical. So you have to increase the usage of mathematical notation, the visualization, like drawing the flow charts and do some figures, convergence figures. And in the computer science, you can add pseudo codes and try to depend less on the significant scientific English language. So try to describe your ideas and methodology using the mathematical notation. Also for the results section, so the results section should describe the data used, and also to evaluation, design, and measurement should be included, how to design your experiments, and you have to conduct a sensitivity analysis for the proposed method, how this proposed method tackle this problem. And for other type of evaluation, there is a comparative evaluation to compare your results with other comparative methods. And there is a statistical evaluation, which should be also conducted to validate your results and methodology outcomes statistically. And the discussion part, which is also very important, that can describe the finding and the new theory. The conclusion part, it has discussion about the results. The main finding shall be highlighted as a new theory, and the limitation of the method shall be given. Also, very important part in the research paper is the future work. So the paper without the future work normally is not interested by the editor, because they are looking for the research article that have a chance to be used and reused by other researchers and to be cited for the journal. So the future work can be described briefly about the possible improvement and extension to the research contribution. And the references should be complete, up to date, trusted, and relevant. So we have to use the recent references, maximum 5 years, and complete means not missing any information. Trusted means try to take the references from the good journals and well-reputed journals with that are indexed by Scopus or by Clarivate Analytics, and the citation or references should be relevant. So avoid unnecessary reference and avoid to use the conference. If there is a journal paper with a solid theory, try to use the journal paper instead of using the conference, and try to avoid the unindexed journal. The main technical component that improve the writing skill, the writing of the well-reputed and very good journals, is you have to use the mathematical notation, and you have to use figures. So you have to describe the idea using mathematical notation. If you cannot, try to use the figure and table and bullets. And if you cannot, try to use, for example, pseudo codes. And last thing, depend on the formal and scientific English language. So because the weak description method in the well-reputed journals is the English language, because mainly we are not native speakers. This is the way. Okay. So after we prepare our paper and after we finish the preparation, we need to go through some proofreading process. Normally, in the proofreading, to check the English language and to check the strength of the paragraphs. So we go through either a company. There is many companies that provide proofreading, and sometimes we can ask our friends that not involved in our research project to read our paper and to provide some comments as a reviewer. And sometimes we use some existing softwares like Grammarly that can help you in writing your paper correctly without English errors. And after we finish the English proofreading, we have to check the similarity. So we have to use the Turnitin to check the visibility, the Similarity Index. So I will give you an example about the Turnitin. So here we can use the Turnitin to check. So also the university subscribe with this engine for all staffs. So here we have
Dr. Mohammed, you are not sharing the screen, I think.
Okay, sorry. So now it's shared.
Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay, this is the Turnitin system. So you can create a class, and if you enter to the class, you can submit your paper. So you can go through this paper submission. So there is many options. You can submit many papers at the same time, and you can submit single file, or you can submit a compressed file with many papers. So here we have to add our name, and then we will add the title of the paper, for example, GWO for FS, anything. So just as a title for your paper, and select the paper that you are already finalized. For example, this is this paper, and upload this paper. So it will take some time because the Turnitin software will go through all documents in the internet and see the similarity between this document with the other document published over the websites or internet or publishers. So this will take some time. So if we confirm this and go to the inbox, so we can see the results of our document. So we can see here, there is a similarity index. Okay, but it needs some time. Okay, so let us go to this, for example, which is already done. So it takes 15 minutes at least to collect the report. So I will share that. So this is, for example, it's shared, Dr. Iyad?
Yeah, it's shown, Doctor. Yes.
Okay, so here we have this report for this paper, and you can see it's highlighted, and this number is referred to the citation that has a similarity. So you can go through here and see the similarity index of each element. So you can download also this elements and go through this elements. So it's easy to check the similarity index for your research. Okay, because we are going beyond the time, so we'll accelerate this. Okay. Share. So here, this is the proofreading and similarity index should be checked before the journal. And very important things nowadays, the editor check any paper submitted to the journal, and if the similarity index is greater than 25%, they will not accept the paper. And also if the percentage for any reference here also more than 2%, also the paper will not be considered in this journal. So try to check the Turnitin before you submit your paper. There is two main research platform that the researcher use to build up their research. They can use the LaTeX or Microsoft Word. They can use LaTeX or Microsoft Word. So the LaTeX platform we normally use in our research team, the Overleaf, which is a new engine that organize the research articles. So let me fast very quickly to see how we can write our paper using the LaTeX in Overleaf. So I don't know if we can see, this is the Overleaf. So in the Overleaf, you can see here, you can find the list of the papers that also you can add a new project, academic journals, and select the publisher that you are targeting, and the same template will be entered to this journal in the Overleaf, and you can also go through any of these papers. So the LaTeX will be appeared in this side, and the PDF will be appeared in this side, and you can share with your partners or with your co-authors the link, and they can use the same project in their Overleaf. So just only copy and paste this link, and they can share the same research project. Okay. And also we can use Word platform in the cloud also to share our research article. So we can also go through the Microsoft Word. Let me go through one sharing document. So this sharing document can be distributed for all co-authors. So immediately you can share the link by using the sharing, click here and take the link for your co-authors, and all of you can write their parts simultaneously at the same document. And this is called Cloud Word. Okay. Let me return back to the slides here. So how to find an active research collaborator, and we will end up with this slide. So to find an active research collaborator, we have to search firstly in your institution. So you can find the research of the collaborators from your colleagues, and this is the best way because you can easily communicate with your colleague. And if you cannot find someone who willing to do research with your research topic, so you can send, sorry, I don't know, it is stop sharing, right? And you can send email to authors who are publishing similar topics before, and use social media research portal such as ResearchGate, LinkedIn, and others. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. Great presentation. I would like to see if any of our audience have any question for the presenter, Dr. Mohammed. Anybody have any question for him?
All good. Hello, Dr. Mohammed. I have a question, please.
Yes.
Yes. Let's assume I'm writing an article, and once I send it to the Turnitin for checking the plagiarism, I found like 50%, and that 50% came from my published paper, from myself. So how can I deal with that situation? So I need to rephrase it, or I keep it?
No, you have to rephrase it, actually. We tried this again, and the editor also justified their rejection because he said, this is a new research and you have to conduct a new and a fresh research. So you have to paraphrase this based on my experience.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Dr. Mohammed? Okay, let me ask you, Dr. Mohammed, do you have any recommendation about organizing the references? Because usually when we are preparing the research, usually we are looking into different papers, and this will be a not easy task, let's say, especially if you are looking into new papers and so on. So is there some recommendation from your side, from your experience, how you can do the collection of these citations easier, or you can say that not citation, but the adding of these references to the paper easier?
So actually, Dr. Riyad, I forgot to mention this. This is in the last slide, so I forget. I'm going beyond the time. But if it depends on what is the platform you use for your paper. So if the paper is written in LaTeX, so there is a Mendeley and Zotero to organize your references. If you use Word, you can use EndNote. So the EndNote is very good, and also the Word also offer some reference or arrangement system.
Yeah.
Also, if you are using the LaTeX platform, you can immediately select the reference from the Google Scholar. So, for example, let me share my screen to here, and if we go to the Scholar here, so we have many papers. So we can, for example, search for any paper here. So let us say this is a very interesting paper for us. So we cannot find the citation immediately, so we can go to the diptych here from here. So if we are a LaTeX user, we can immediately copy and paste this citation and enter it to our article. If we are a Word user, so we can set our Google Scholar to have the refman work or EndNote. So it depends on what citation type we need to follow.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions? Okay, so at the end, Dr. Mohammed, can you please stop sharing so we can have a group photo for the audience?
Yeah, okay.
So let me just. I'm just opening the tool and giving you some time if you'd like to open your webcams. Mapping tool, yeah. Afsah, you are going to do this because it's not opening in my PC.
Yes, doctor, I will do it. It's fine.
Okay, okay. All right, so let's take a group photo.
I will be taking a screenshot now.
Okay.
One more, so
Okay.
just in case. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Afsah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, for the nice presentation. And I hope that you have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.